goal is not to, get a kind of ticky-tack violations of, you shared a joint with someone. But if we're going to have a regime that says you have home grow and you have a dispensary, and in some ways never the twain shall meet, then there has to be a consequence for violating that statute.
Thank you, Chair. So I agree. I think your intent is like that permanent transfer. You don't want somebody growing marijuana in their home and then permanently transferring it to another person. I think that's kind of the intent compared to just like sharing a joint.
Right.
Well, what I'm asking about the criminality is, how are we going to know if marijuana is grown at home or purchased on the street? If they look identical, they're in the same type of baggies, right? We don't have to have it in its original packaging from the dispensary. How do we know? How are we going to be able to cut down on the black market of marijuana, specifically those that's laced with fentanyl, if the home grow doesn't have to stay inside of the home? Because then if we made it where the home grow had to stay inside of the home, any marijuana that wasn't in the packaging from dispensaries could be considered contraband on the street. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get rid of the black market. And so that was one of my concerns. And the other concern was with the transportation portion of it. I kind of get the intent behind it, but I think it's just opened the door up to criminalizing possession again of what could be home grow or what could be street marijuana in an individual's pocket in the car. Unlike a beer can or a liquor bottle, which is very hard to conceal in one's pocket, a small amount of marijuana in theory can be in someone's pocket, and according to the bill, if you're riding in a car, it makes it a crime. So those are two of the concerns I just kind of wanted to note for you, and hope that we could work towards a resolution on those two.
Through the chair to the representative, I have those concerns noted in my notes as well, and happy to work with you on them.
Follow-up?
One last follow-up, one last concern. So when I read through the expungement provision, it said that the court shall expunge. Essentially, if there was a conviction, it said you will note an objection from the prosecutor and you will consider it, but then the lower section below it, F, said the court shall expunge. And, I have some bills that have to do with automatic slaying as well. And, it's been brought to my attention that we have this juvenile case of Bloom out of the Ohio Supreme Court where they said, whenever you give that shall to the judge, it's going to violate the Constitution because you're not giving the judge any discretion in order to decide whether to expunge it or not. So maybe if we could address that to make sure we're not going to run afoul of the constitutional provisions.
Through the chair to the representative, I agree. I mean, I think my goal in this would be to have the quickest, easiest, most affordable expungement process that we can legally have. I've talked to the Attorney General's office. My understanding is